their information.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
For the puppeteering, are you using special puppeteering software, or are you adapting just usual 3D?
That's the puppeteering we're using. We're using a game engine called Panda. It's an open source Disney code, and that's our main game engine. Then we've also written a stage management control system in XML, and that's all being put together with Chris's fidgetry board, which he's been building and using sliders and buttons, and he could probably tell you slightly more about that than I can.
Yeah, basically it's all done in the 3D engine, the code, and we're sort of putting together our own custom-made mixing board that we can fake everything with backstage.
And we'll be able to slide through animations and be able to control scene transitions and all of those things between 104 keys that are on the keyboard that we'll have next to these sliders and other buttons, as well as a mouse, and we can navigate and do everything on that board.
Yeah. Can you show us some more examples of the graphics?
Sorry?
Can you show us some more examples of the graphics?
Of the graphics? Yeah. At the moment, I don't know that I'm set up to do that. But we are, where are we at with graphics at the moment? We're getting pretty close. We've got a bunch of scenes that are just about to be rendered, and we're adapting the art so quickly right now, and it's such crunch time that integration is what we've been waiting on Mark to show up for. So when Mark gets back, we're going to be integrating all this content together, and I'll have more to show then.
What about your circus skills? Can you show us any of them?
We can, actually.
By we,
You've been practicing.
Can you give us some room to go?
Alright, so Cameron and I have been practicing our big acrobatics trick here, so we're gonna go for it.
Don't settle for seconds.
I've been training with the circus for about 4 years. I teach acrobatics and juggling, and it was that relationship that led to this all happening. So circus is definitely a big part of what we're doing here.
It's crazy that you asked that question right now.
Yeah.
I saw the Spaghetti Circus when they're down for one of the festivals here. I'm not quite sure if next year's a festival year or is it the year after, but is the plan for taking this down here as well?
Yes. The circus is doing, we've been working with them to develop this proof of concept. They would like to tour this show beyond this. Adelaide Fringe is certainly a place that we're considering taking it. We've also been talking to Luna Park, Dream World, a few other places to see if we can get engagements to actually take this show further and go on with it. We're going to have representatives of Cirque du Soleil there, so who knows where that will take it, but they're showing a show up in Brisbane around the same time, so representatives have been invited down to come see them, so hopefully that'll grow. Yes?
Being at a circus, and I'm thinking you've got an audience that ranges probably 180 degrees. You've got 3 screens that are ranging pretty wide. And you've got a boy fishing, and you've got cannons flying. How are you going to deal with line of sight? One person from one side seeing the exact same thing, angular, across the stage, as a person on the other side.
It's definitely a big question, and the reality of this situation is we haven't seen all this stuff together in one place. What we've been trying to use is use the pre-visualization to be able to get as much information back in our planning process to be able to say, this is a 3D model of the tent, this is what projection is going to look like on that tent, and this is what it looks like looking from any of these seats. Beyond that, it's really hard for us to be able to make a real question of how that's going to be, but using 12,000 lumen projectors, there should be enough punch that there isn't any point where you're not seeing image on that screen. They're definitely going to be popping a lot of color through the screen. So.
And another thing I want to mention is, you're right. It's something that we've been dealing with because part of our original vision was to have a lot of effects that were based on computer vision and tracking the performers, where they were going, and having the screen relate to that. And exactly your point was why we cut almost every one of those potential interactions, is because it's going to be extremely dependent on where the camera's placed, and if you have a different point of view, you won't get it. So we try our best to limit our interactions to the ones that are going to work for that setup, or at least we think will work, and which we can only get there.
being able to also tweak the alignment of cameras and such once we get up there, because it is a game, we can actually figure out what positions we want our projectors to be in relationship to the background scenery. And so we'll set those up as hot points where we know we're going to here, we know we're going to here, and I think that'll give us the best look that we're going for. So, any other questions?
Just one maybe for the guys in the middle of the team here. What personally is going to be your biggest reward from this project? Is it watching the audience interact? Is it hearing individual feedback? Is it knowing that you've contributed to the work that's up there on these big projectors? What does it for you?
I think pretty much all those things.
Pick one.
I think for me, the main point of this is to blur reality and illusion, to really feel like you're in space. That's why we have those ginormous screens. So if they actually feel like they actually went on an adventure with the pirates and actually went to the dock and the inn, that would be the most rewarding for me.
I think just seeing how the audience reacts to it, and if we could take this circus experience, which would have been fun anyway, and make it that much richer for them, I find that really exciting.
I gotta say that we're just to see the entire thing come together in the very end, because as Michelle mentioned in the video, we have over 200 plus assets, and just seeing all those come together to actually, create a believable environment. That's something that I can't wait to see.
I guess I agree with all of them. It's really cool to see the show come to life. But for me, all the different interactions, the ones on stage are just kind of like gravy. Like, we can fake everything. So if there's something on stage that when we get to the show, we learn it actually works and is really cool and useful, that'll do it for me. It's just one of them. We've learned that, like, that's awesome. Let's keep doing it. That's what I would like to see.
I'm personally looking forward to seeing little kids look up at those screens and just be totally blown away, because I know there's going to be 3 to 6-year-olds or 8-year-old kids that are going to come there, and they'll have seen their older siblings play video games and stuff, and I'm looking forward to even the kids in the circus going, I want to know more about how people are doing that type of media. I want to know more about how that is, and we're going to have an opportunity to talk to them just like they're going to share circus stuff with us, and to me that's going to be really cool, is watching the mix of cultures that happens.
Thank you. One of the guys in the middle. Look at me.
What do you think, Cameron?
What do I like the most about this? Probably just the spectacular nature of it. It hurts a little to say that, because I'm always pushing story, and how the spectacle is one of the lowest on the list for important things. But it truly is. It's going to be awesome to watch. As you can see, it's going to totally rock, or whatever.
Well, thank you all very much for coming.
Presentation to go today, and that is the extra healthy terrestrials. Okay. Welcome everyone. My name is Sam Koglaze, and this is Evan Miller, and we're going to talk a little about our project, which is Extra Healthy Terrestrials. And the basic idea here is that you have a little creature that goes with you on your mobile phone everywhere, and it grows and changes and evolves over time and teaches you something about healthy nutritional habits. So there's 6 people on our team. We have Camilla Kidlin, who is our co-producer and animator. We have Chris Rodriguez, who is co-producing as well and doing our server-side programming. We have Laura Pliskin, who is our texture artist, as well as our game designer. Myself, I'm doing the cell phone side programming, and Evan Miller, who is doing our character modeling and also is our level designer.